Hello, my name is Laura Mills, and I'm the Fund Administrator for the Building Standards Administration Special Revolving Fund. This fund is managed by the California Building Standards Commission, also known as CBSC. This short video will explain the reason for the fee applied to building permits, provide instructions for how to properly calculate the fee, and present our new electronic payment option. Thanks for joining me. In 2007, California's governor directed several state agencies to begin developing green building standards. Because this was a new mandate, funding was needed for the code development activities. Senate Bill 1473 was drafted and signed into law, which required adding a fee to building permits for construction activities covered by Title 24. This fee promotes green building standards and related education, and the funds are available to CBSC, the Department of Housing and Community Development, and the Office of the State Fire Marshal. Additionally, the law allows for the jurisdiction to retain 10% of the fees for local administrative costs associated with the fee or for building official and inspector education. If you're interested, you can learn more about California's Green Building Standards Code by watching CBSC's video about CalGreen on our CalGreen webpage. Here's an image of the first section of the regulations that explains the fee assessment, which I will describe in detail in just a moment. These regulations are found in the California Administrative Code, Part 1 of Title 24, which can be viewed for free from our website's building permit fee or code pages. The regulations in Article 5 of the California Administrative Code explain the fee calculation method and provide details for remitting the fee on a quarterly basis. These regulations have been refined over the years to provide clarity on how to calculate, assess, and remit the fees to CBSC. Additionally, we have developed a guide to filing the building permit fee that contains detailed information and sample fee calculations. To implement the requirements of SB 1473, an easy process was developed for building departments to collect and remit the fee. Simply put, the fee is $1 per $25,000 of each permit's valuation or fraction of $25,000 in a valuation. Although the calculation is simple, there are a couple of misunderstandings that result in errors in fee assessments and reporting. One misunderstanding is taking the total valuation of all the building permits for a quarter and dividing by 25,000. This is incorrect because the fee is to be assessed on each individual permit, not the sum of permits issued each quarter. Proper calculation shall not be less than $1 per permit, meaning that the fee on any permit of less than $25,000 is always $1. Another error is dividing the individual permit valuation by 25,000 and assessing that amount. This can create fees that are less than whole dollars. Now, I'd like to show you how to correctly calculate the fees. For a permit of $14,120, remember, the fee is $1 for every $25,000 or fraction thereof. Therefore, the total fee is $1. When a permit valuation is $38,211, the fee is $1 for the first $25,000 plus $1 for the remaining amount of $13,211. So the total fee is $2. A permit with a $1 million valuation, when calculated according to the regulations, is assessed as follows. The fee is $4 for the first $100,000 of valuation, plus $1 for each additional $25,000 of valuation. So $1 million minus the first $100,000 is $900,000. $900,000 divided by $25,000 equals $36. 36 plus $4 equals the total fee assessment of $40. The funny thing about this calculation is you can literally just divide the $1 million by 25,000 and arrive at the same $40 fee. However, that's not what the regulations say. If you do decide to use this method, remember that it should only be used on individual permits and not on the total valuation for a quarter. Finally, a permit of $12,326,465 will require a bit more calculation. The fee is $4 for the first $100,000 of valuation, plus $1 for each additional $25,000 of valuation, or fraction thereof. $12,326,465 minus $100,000 equals $12,226,465. That amount divided by 25,000 equals 489, with a remainder of $1,465. The fee for the remaining amount is $1. So we add those up. $4 plus 489 plus 1 for a total fee of $494. You can view the calculation methods I just described by referring to page 8 of the Building Permit Fee Guide. Let's use the prior calculation examples as if these are all of the permits issued and fees collected for a quarter. So the total fee assessment is $537, and the 10% retainer for the local jurisdiction is $53.70. Remember, the 10% retainer is an allowance to cover the jurisdiction's administrative costs and code enforcement and education efforts, and is deducted from the total assessed amount of $537. Note that the fee assessment and remittance amounts should never have pennies in the amount, which is a quick way to know if the calculation is correct. Fee assessments should always be in whole dollars, and after deducting the 10% retainer, the remitted amount should only have cents in the tens and never pennies. $483.30 is the amount remitted to CBSC. The regulations state that fees are to be submitted quarterly and are due on the 15th of the following month. Because some jurisdictions use calendar quarters and some use fiscal quarters, filers should be sure to complete the fee report form so CBSC will know how to correctly record the remittance. When the fee was first implemented, sending the check and fee report form through the mail was the only option. Now, jurisdictions wishing to make electronic payments may do so using our electronic payment gateway, known as EPG for short. Advantages to this option are that the fee report and payment are electronically submitted to CBSC, which saves paper, postage, and staff time. There is no fee for e-check payments. However, the payment processor does collect a fee of 2.99% of the payment amount if a credit card is used. For more information and to start your electronic payments, contact us at BSASRF_fees@dgs.ca.gov. Please note that CBSC cannot accept ACH or EFT payments. This video is just an overview of the BSA-SRF program, and there is more detailed information in the guide to filing the building permit fee, as well as a lot of quick access information on our building permit fee webpage. I hope you find this information helpful. If you still have questions, I'm always happy to respond to emails or calls. Thank you for your time.